focus on the game, and take it here.
For me, that's the Dignitas that I've been missing for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
That's the coordination that I want. I mean, in the first couple of matches that we actually had from them, it felt like, okay, the timing on an initiation is a second or 2 seconds off, and it's really hurting Dignitas, and it feels like they don't know what's going on. Today, it felt like everything was on point in game number 1. If they can continue that going into game number 2, I am worried for HeroesHearth.
Well, we have the Maiev locked in here. Obviously, a pretty common first ban. We see Malfurion counters. This means that I love what Dignitas is doing to HeroesHearth here, because last time HeroesHearth tried to take control of the draft, they didn't have first pick. They went for the early Lunara, and they banned the Maiev, right? That's normal. But now Dignitas is saying, like, oh, you actually have to make a bold statement with your first pick again.
Yeah.
You can't actually just take the safe Malfurion, which has the highest win rate per involvement in this tournament. You can't just say, well, I'll take the S-tier hero that's available and then draft around that. You actually have to make a statement now with your first pick about what you're planning.
We talk a lot about Malfurion, how strong he is, and he's sitting at a win rate above 60%. The impressive part is that HeroesHearth has now played him 4 times, and they only lost 1 time with Malfurion. So they are even above the average here. They are playing extremely well with that hero, and I feel that's the only reason why Dignitas is willing to ban out Malfurion, since they are the team that normally desperately tries to get Malfurion for Zelia.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like HeroesHearth clearly doesn't have a backup plan here. I think they wanted to draft reflexively here, or reactively, I should say, and grab the Malfurion and then just see what Dignitas ran with. They do eventually make the decision to go for the global choice of the Dahaka to control the lanes, but you're playing Dignitas' game now. You're going to try to out-macro this team. It's not going to be easy.
Especially being Towers of Doom, a battleground that we've seen Dignitas at a couple times. I am kind of curious to see what they're going to move into here, though, without the Malfurion being up. It's been one of their mainstays for a pretty decent amount of time. Dahaka would be someone that they would pick up on this battleground, so I like that choice there from HeroesHearth. It's just a matter of, are we going to get the Genji from Dig this time? Which is something that has been floating around and been picked up pretty often in this tournament.
For me, the question of the offlaner is more something that I'm... like, first of all, one of the heroes that we're looking at is, of course, early on Garrosh. Are they going to go for Garrosh as the main tank? We know that JPL plays a lot of Muradin as well, and Muradin has been rising significantly throughout the group stage here at the MSP, so I could see them heading into that. But Garrosh is still open, so you have to make that choice at this point. Do you want to play the Garrosh game? And they actually decide against it, and even commit to the early Uther, so taking a page out of the game of the Koreans.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen only really Hyde find success with his hero so far. And it's a very strong combo. It's old, though. It's very dated. But I think HeroesHearth in this next ban phase will have to decide how much they want this Dahaka to have impact in this game. You know, will we see the lane bully, you know, banned away? Or are we going to see them try to use that Dahaka to control the macro? It's very difficult if you have a bad matchup against a solo laner with Dahaka and they have Genji on the other side.
Right, exactly. I mean, even still, even if you do try and control those solo laners, that Genji is always going to have the potential to have a fast rotate.
Yeah. I'm actually excited to watch Zelia play Uther. You guys know Alex Aproji, he's been streaming a lot recently, and whenever he talks about his scrims, he's always yelling about how dumb it feels to play against Zelia and his Uther because of how impactful he can be. He's had a little bit more aggressive choice words I don't think I can repeat on this broadcast, but I'm excited to see what exactly Zelia's going to be able to pull off. There's Zeratul, though, again for HeroesHearth.
I mean, even more exciting to me is that there's a Karazim, a pretty high priority compared to anything. In fact, is it the first Karazim or is it the second?
I think it's... You know what? I know there was a draft we were looking at yesterday. We thought there was going to be a Karazim, but there wasn't at the end. I actually don't remember if it's the first
one.
I can answer that in a second. We had one Karazim.
That's what I was thinking. I know there's one we almost saw yesterday.
Tempest played it.
The thing about this is, again, I feel like missed priority. Karazim is not going to be very likely banned by Dignitas here, and you could have, I think, hidden a lot more with what you're looking at in this draft without locking it in here. And this feels very old school North America, where you're like, I've got this really cool strategy. Trust me, it'll work. It feels like we're going down these drafts where it's like, don't worry, you'll see it in the end. But I don't know if I'm going to see it in the end here.
It goes very much away from what we've seen in a lot of the games before. Garrosh, for example, was highly contested in most games, and here both teams are absolutely willing to give him up. Now, there are, of course, a plethora of tanks that you can play on Towers of Doom, and we've been talking about other tanks rising in priority, but it's still super interesting to me, especially if you look at the previous games that we've seen today, where Garrosh was oftentimes even a first ban.
I think the Abathur ban just is so obvious because the Karazim just so much telegraphs this. If you have the Zeratul and not the Karazim, you're still thinking about it, but you see the Karazim and you're like, well, this is insanely strong. If they get an Abathur, why want to just remove that? And so what's most interesting to me now is how Heroes Hearth proves to me, you guys on this panel, and the rest of the viewers at home as to why these first 3 heroes are going to, like, what are the last 2 picks that are going to convince me this draft makes sense? Because I can't think of anything.
I mean, to be honest, if you want an Abathur comp, then pick Abathur instead of Karazim. Who's going to ban out Karazim against that when the tanks are still?
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing to me is that, as you said rightly, the Blaze being banned out means that they're looking to focus the control further to Hacker and stuff, but Garrosh is still open.
Garrosh is still
during all of this.
I was starting to think about Heroes Hearth going down the path of a variant here, but with an Uther on the opposing side, it doesn't look too tasty either. But I'm thinking of single target damage, Varian locking down a target, trying to blow them up, maybe a Li Ming as a final pickup there for them. But
I can just picture JPL how the entire time is absolutely willing to flex over into Muradin, and then at the end they're like, well, if they don't want him, I guess we take him.
Yeah.
I guess we go for Garrosh.
Of course.
I mean, well,
they insta-lock.
I don't think, I mean, they insta-lock it, which that gives me a little bit of hope that maybe there's something I'm not seeing here. But I don't know if you guys can explain this draft to me, the priority of the Karazim and the Zeratul early with Diablo Phoenix locked in, because...
Is it true Wombo? Is this back to Void Prism Apocalypse into Planet
Firecracker?
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
Not Planet Cracker, Salvo, 100%.
Right?
Against Uther, it worries me a little bit. I don't think you can just put your eggs all into a Wombo combo basket with the setup here. So I would say that we are still going to see Lightning Breath. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is kill potential with what they have here.
Yeah.
With Zeratul,
yeah.
you can really start ganking. Karazim is great for the single target damage. The question is just simply, who are you going to attack here? And Uther is going to be in a position where he can lock anyone that jumps in too deep down with a quick stun, especially after 16, the Benediction. If Zeratul gets a little bit too close to home, he will be double stunned immediately. And they're putting even more control now in with ETC taken. So ETC can side lane here, of course, then later on as well, pretty easily. Genji can help him out at the top lane, so he shouldn't lose out there either. And we have the additional stun that's also there, so Zeratul should have a huge problem.
Stage dive, he can match the global with Dahaka.
Exactly. I felt like the soul laner here was going to be a tank because you have to deal with the dive potential of Zeratul Karazim. I think ETC makes perfect sense because he has the ability to post 10, have that global. He shuts down the melees that are coming through here. He can help shut down Phoenix as well if he flanks. Only other hero I was thinking of, because I was thinking this has to be a tank, would have been the Tyrael. Could have had Tyrael to counter all those combos, but I think ETC makes more sense because he's a global.
I mean, the one thing that I do like... Huh?
I could have seen Thrall maybe, but I like ETC more, but still.
Anyway, let's go to predictions and I can make my point afterwards.
I think that Zeratul and Karazim are both going to be shut down whenever they engage. We have a Taunt available on Garrosh, we have ETC with Power Slide, Uther stun as well, and we have a reset combo where every kill is going to be amplified by the resets on Genji and Li Ming. I don't see a way that Dignitas loses this game.
Yeah, I have to agree completely. There's no way Heroes Hearth takes this in my mind. I'm going to watch the game and see if I'm wrong about this draft having some sort of synergy that I don't see. The Wombo combo doesn't, you know, we talked about it earlier with the Planet Cracker. That seems like a pipe dream. There's no way that's going to work in a real game against a team of this caliber. Dignitas, 100%.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm looking at Heroes Hearth and just question marks just pop up around the side draft. So I go with Dignitas.
The one thing I like, I mean, I'm going with Dignitas before I even say any of this. The one thing I do like on Heroes Hearth Esports side, though, is the fact that they do have a lot more, I feel, lane control into wave clear compared to the composition by Dignitas. But I don't think at all that's going to be enough to win Heroes Hearth a game like this. So, still Dignitas. Let's check in with what Twitch thinks. 80-20. Thanks, guys. Okay, in favor of our Dignitas boys here, as Heroes Hearth looking to kind of come back in this series and try and get themselves the 1 point that they would love to grab here for Towers of Doom. Let's check in with our commentators as well. What do you guys think about our draft after we've talked about it extensively?
Well, you know, although I am also worried for Heroes Hearth, I'm happy to see them branch out into some other strategies.
Yeah, and even though I do like some of the potential Lightning Breath Salvo combo could be a thing, but I feel like in this draft they've been trying to see the tree for the forest and they haven't been able to do so.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Fair play. All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Take it away.
I'm glad you brought it up because I was definitely going to say I think it's going to be Lightning Breath with the Purification Salvo outside of the VP, the way that we saw. We didn't see it with the Zeratul yesterday, but they were playing it.
It's a much slower setup
Yeah.
as opposed to Dignitas's mosh pit potential blow up, but the potential is there. So, ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Europe, on the left-hand side, it is Team Dignitas. With Snitch on Genji, Zalia on Uther, Poik on Li Ming, JPL on that Garrosh, and Wooby is bringing out the elite Taran Chieftain.
Poik on Li Ming is one of the chief reasons why I am so scared for HeroesHearth. Highest KD ratio in the world, and that is one of his most lethal heroes. But HeroesHearth here hoping to make it a 1-1. Arthalon playing Dahaka, which means McIntyre flexing over to that Zeratul. BBJ on Karazim, Ishbu playing Diablo, and Crowan playing Phoenix.
We head out into the map here. I want to point out a talent very quickly. When you're against a Zeratul, your best thing to try and lock him down is before he can wormhole out, point and click crowd control, or have a very quick reactions. Garrosh can really struggle with this if Zeratul isn't directly nearest him.
Absolutely.
EDC can maybe react. Uther, though, Hammer of the Lightbringer, cooldown reduction on Hammer of Justice once you have finished your stacking. This could be a huge talent for picking out McIntyre here.
There is quite a few talent deviations at the start of this. HeroesHearth has a few that I want to talk about too, but I wanted to point out as well that they went ahead and just went straight to lanes. They respect the chain CC early game kill potential of Team Dignitas enough just to head straight into lanes, but Arsenal synergy is something we've seen in North America, though in general it's more for a soloing style Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then Feast on Fear.
Feast on Fear, the stun heals coming in for Diablo as opposed to the much more usual Devil's Due. So, like you said, a little bit more out of the ordinary there. Nice little wormhole there by McIntyre for the last little hit. Harass will be on the way out, but Snitch punishing them for being so far forward. No chance of a kill here, but massively bullying Althon's health pool to make him use his essence.
With both teams having this very mobile pseudo-global hero like Genji and Zeratul, I expect to see those rotations to the top continue. For HeroesHearth, it's something that's really important to them. They often try to prioritize those top sappers, even drafting such heroes as Falstad and using Wingman to ensure that they're continually putting pressure not only in the bottom lane, but in the top two. But that Dignitas have Snitch playing that Genji should be welcome that they're able to rotate back up in the same way and not allow that to happen.
BBJ putting some nice little pressure onto Poik here, and a very quick rotation by HeroesHearth here, trying to make some usage out of their bottom sappers here. They've already cleaned up Dignitas's, so very nice play there, but their sappers, they're so low, and Poik is shredding them. Very nice job here, Poik.
Talking about Poik, I'm expecting HeroesHearth to try to bring him down quickly when we start to look at those wombos in the team fights. We've also seen, though, yesterday when HeroesHearth took a game off of Tempest, they're the only team that has won as of yet with Lightning Breath. And they did the exact same thing, comboing Lightning Breath with the Purification Salvo. And the one that I saw that was just insane was on a Genji as he was trying to Swift Strike and run away from HeroesHearth. So maybe they can try to do that. Also assassinating Poik would be very nice at the start of a fight, so it's less reset capabilities and concern for HeroesHearth.
I would like to draw your attention here to the air ally coming in here for Karazim. There's not really too many auto attacks to worry about for the earth ally, and the life ally, they're mostly against burst damage and AoE damage that could kill it. So instead, BBJ going for a little bit of map vision and a lot of mobility.
Exactly.
I can kind of dig it.
Because you have the extra charge of it too.
Yeah. So being able to dash around to those, choose exactly where you want to dash to, not having to rely on an ally. Right now, quick one-for-one trade as we see the scuffle beginning in the middle map area.
Crowan trying to keep some control over JPL with his Plasma Cutter as a way of slowing him so that he can't as easily get those combos onto somebody like BBJ who's channeling. But as you said before, BBJ with that playing that Karazim has a lot of mobility should he be the one who gets taken. And we're going to see HeroesHearth just give up that mid altar, trying to ramp up into the late game a little bit better.
See there that Arsenal synergy coming into effect from Crowan, trying to drop the maximum amount of damage onto JPL as possible, as his team did choose to give up that altar, instead opting to have McIntyre continuing to soak mid lane, and as such, they're still fairly even on experience.
Wubby and Arthalon going at it in that top lane. Gets a little bit easier at level 10. Should we see HGC go into stage dive, which is generally the normal expectation when you see a side laner playing ETC, but not necessarily the case. I think it's even Wubby that a couple of times has played Mosh Pit, so I am interested to see what he wants to move into.
As am I. If we have a look at some of the interrupts here, we have potential for Diablo if he wanted to go for that mosh pit. And other than that, it's kind of reliant on Dahaka to be the interrupt tool here. Nice little toss there by JPL, pushing Ishbu back. But once again, we're seeing the exact same strategy. HeroesHearth committing to trying to clear up Dignitas' sappers while trying to empower their own.
Whereas McIntyre has been losing out in the mid, he's not quite as free to rotate. Snitch has started to head down to the bottom, looking to see if they can get any pressure on some of the members of HeroesHearth. And they've found McIntyre as he wanted to rotate through for the team. Great stun, actually stopped from the Groundbreaker connecting. Now Ishbu under heavy fire as all of Dignitas start to head after him.
Big chunk of heals there, thanks to his Souls to the Flame, so he does get a little bit of extra health back, but still has to pop the fountain as he did get absolutely chunked by the engage from JPL.
All right, so we're starting to get closer and closer to heroic abilities. Dahaka has taken a ton of damage up in the top lane from the ETC, getting in and getting some action there, and that's going to send him back while the altars are activating. This is a couple of seconds, but you have to remember that Team Dignitas does not have stage dive yet. They don't have a global, so they have to bring Wubby down the old-fashioned way. It looks like Dignitas is okay with trading, just to make sure that ETC doesn't miss out on any laning time. He's already sent Dahaka back. This is already a nice victory that they've had to do that, and from that, they are the ones in the lead already from the first phase.
Only a little bit though. Experience is only a slight bit ahead for Dignitas, and, well, health only one rotation of altars away, so it's not too bad for them. It's just going to be all about these level 10s once both teams are able to get to them. Although, Diablo might have inadvertently shown which hero level 10 he wants to pick. We see him getting stunned out here. Beautiful engages by Dignitas. Even the Souls to the Flame is not enough to save him there. Immediate hand of protection by Xaylia as well. Easy protect for JPL, but we actually see Phoenix with the combat advantage here. So already it does synergize well with his own kit, but combine that with Diablo's Lightning Breath, which is more likely as it is slow itself, it does potentially show which direction Diablo wants to go.
It's hard to focus on taking someone down at the start. Karazim lends to that too, as just straight up, I mean, you've got Iron Fist anyway, but as a hero to pick. So I feel like even in the draft, you could definitely see that, but we've seen HeroesHearth, give up one altar in the first phase, try to play as safely as possible, even set up laning-wise so that they could get to heroic abilities now. So now we're going to find out what exactly that combo is.
Dignitas already have their heroic abilities as well. As we know, Stage Dive is what we see. Uther is holding his, though. So Divine Palm, Salvo, there is that Lightning Breath like we called. And then Isolation and Void Prism as well. Very committed to setting up that one, but no seven-sided to add more burst damage. Very much focusing on the Palm, which makes a lot of sense. You're with a Zeratul and a Phoenix. Both of them, if they do get locked down, could be in trouble.
All eyes now, ours and Team Dignitas, need to be on McIntyre. Can he set this up for his team? Or will Dignitas keep control of him so they never get the opportunity? Arthlon starting to stalk in. They're going to have a push back, and Krone has to go back away. Here it comes with Purification Salvo and the Lightning Breath, and it's going to start to bring down Wubby and JPL, but those are the two tanky frontliners in Team Dignitas live through.
Salvo on just the tank, burning all but one heroic here. Snitch nearly getting caught out with the clutch Divine Shield by Xaylia, but they're not done. HeroesHearth looking to get someone, but Arthlon gets caught out. Quick taunt by Garrosh, and that's going to be probably the only kill in this fight as we see the teleport out, unless they can catch Ishbu here, which they might be able to.
Yeah, Wave of Force. Wow, so nicely done. There is still the Palm that keeps Ishbu alive, but if they could reset his souls here, that would be freaking amazing. Actually, he's not even at the soul, so he's just going to have to wait the old-fashioned way.
I love the commitment, being able to attempting as Genji moves in to flip him over, but Jada, too quick with that Arcane Orb, finishes off Diablo and potentially saves Snitch's life there.
I also want to highlight, as we see yet another flip, but it's BBJ, and there's using that ally. I want to highlight Xaylia too, because the minute that Arthlon tried to use the movement speed of the Brushstalker to come around from the side and get a kill, it was a quick draw Hammer of Justice thanks to the Hammer of the Lightbringer that allowed for the setup for the throw from JPL, the taunt to follow up, and the first kill. Then from there, HeroesHearth had to retreat, a long path back to retreat, and Team Dignitas understanding the terrain very well to rotate around and get even more.
And of course the Divine Shield from him as well. If we were to talk about all the plays that Xaylia did right, we would literally waste the entire casting day due to how good of a player he is.
That's very fair. As
we do see Dignitas moving back into lane, Arthlon scouting out this camp area. Doesn't see anyone doing it. Wubby also has a scout and sees the exact same thing.
So the start of that fight happened, McIntyre used Cleave, he revealed himself, and he tried to take out a minion wave. And I want to see a little bit more patience from him. Everything's on him. Yeah. So he needs to be in place for where they want to fight. and he needs to be set up so that they can get the big setup, because as we saw the first time, the Lightning Breath, the Purification Salvo, it's not going to do... It's going to do some damage. It's going to push Team Dignitas back. But if it's just on that front line, it's not going to be enough. They need to get a kill off of this.
Exactly. You need Dignitas to be grouped up, and the VP and Zeratul positioning can be so important for this. For now, we're going to see a quick trade out. Dignitas once again going to save head. Oh, by the way, we completely missed it. HeroesHearth actually snuck away the channel in that bot lane fight while all this was going on. There's the quick taunt on Garrosh, but Indomitable... sorry, not quick taunt, the quick Indomitable from Garrosh to get him out of danger.
Taunt was also used, so that's a cooldown that's down for a little bit of time for HeroesHearth to potentially take advantage of. In the bot, Zeratul is here. McIntyre spotted. But remember that Dahaka can always come in, as can ETC, so it's about when Snitch shows up if Team Dignitas wants to take this fight.
Nice, 3-man stun. Here
And
comes the stage dive. How quickly can Dahaka join? Crowin, forced teleport away. VP only grabbing Li Ming. Here comes the salvo. Not on any of the slowed heroes. It gets easily deflected by Snitch. No kills from either side there.
Right, another case of Team Dignitas dictating when the fight starts. The Void Prison was in the back. It was only on one person. But it was a faster engage from Team Dignitas, and that was brilliant from them to know that they get a little bit of time while the stock is still happening. Taunt, a big taunt. Oh man, 3 people. Crowin is gonna maybe, but the warp, he already tried to use the warp.
Yeah, it's down, and that's such Poik able to pick up the kill and nearly gets BBJ as well, but able to back up here. Zeratul, on the other hand, very nearly died as well, but was able to wormhole to safety. But Dignitas, they're continuing to just creep ahead. This is not a snowball game by any means of the word, but it is certainly creeping further and further in their advantage, but very slowly.
And I think a lot of that just, again, goes back to their control over the fights. They are the ones who have been able to always pick when and where it starts. We still have 37 seconds until Void Prison's back up. And even if you wanted to run the Lightning Breath with the Purification Salvo without it, it's still 7 seconds left until the Salvo. And this is the triple altar phase.
The Ishbu and BBJ on the way. It looks like we're just going to see the quick trade up in top lane, and then the commitment to bot. Phoenix, like we said, on the way. Like we already said, Lightning Breath is used. Salvo does get 2 slowed members this time. Xaylia has to burn the Divine Shield, but that's still...
They got him!
Never mind! Nice little snipe there at the end. So I was going to say they burned 2 heroics for 1 there, but instead they burned 2 heroics for a kill. Nice HeroesHearth there.
I was already looking at the minimap, looking for rotations in, because I was so sure that Xaylia was safe, but I'm pretty sure that would have been Arsenal synergy. You can get a lot of those kills that otherwise you can't, because you get that extra big burst of damage when you switch, plus getting the extra range too. HeroesHearth is going to take this momentum and run with it, trying to take out Bell Tower. They already got another altar too, and they're 20-16. HeroesHearth are hanging in this game.
That talent is made for last hits, and as such, like you said, they are currently making the most of their small amount of time. With Uther in base and with Dignitas not yet at level 16. The fact is, HeroesHearth, they're still behind in XP, but they're ahead on core health right now.
And you want to be ahead at one of them.
Yeah.
Both is, of course, ideal, but definitely you do not want to be behind in both of them. In the last fight, it was phenomenal. They got the kill on Uther from the combo. They even forced a Divine Shield, so even had they not gotten the kill, they forced this huge cooldown that Dignitas are reliant on. And because of that, HeroesHearth are evolving, they're adapting, they're figuring out what they need to do in these fights.
Invade attempt by Dignitas, scouted and denied as HeroesHearth just grabbed the Sappers and then back up. The Sappers do die, no value gained, but it really forces Dignitas to be trying to do stuff in the jungle as opposed to trying to soak stuff elsewhere.
McIntyre. I was watching him. Dahaka's still on top, he gets Sappers.
Very important talent to mention here, Cleansing Touch, I believe, coming in for Karazim. That is a pretty huge deal when you're against Uther, Garrosh, and ETC.
The stun lock has been problematic for why Dignitas have the lead in kills here. So we'll see if that changes things. Having the extra dash charge at 7 gives you an extra one of those too, so you're not too limited on mobility. Stage dive is going to separate out. McIntyre gets a pretty big Void Prison, but the Purification only hits 1. They're going to try to get more off of it. PBJ's chasing him down. They force the Divine Shield.
The Divine Shield is good, but also Snitch has been completely zoned away from the rest of his team as JPL is getting focused down here. He will survive, and Snitch, he is trying to make something happen. Big Poik picks picks up the kill elsewhere, and Snitch, the great distraction there from above.
BBJ was just sitting and channeling, and he was low in health, and against a Poik, that is a sitting duck with Mirror Ball and an Arcane Orb. Went around, was like, wait a second, is this guy for real?
Yeah.
Threw it all out, got the kill, the counter kill. HeroesHearth are immediately going to try to start working on a boss, try to salvage the situation, but Dignitas have sniffed it out.
VP's not available. What could they use to guarantee this? The answer is very little, so they are going to have to let this leash. Dig not going to attempt to try and steal it away. Instead, they move back into lanes. They are comfortable. The core health is even, but the level advantage still there for Dignitas.
This bell tower is one Li Ming combo away from
that's
converting.
as good as dead. It might have actually been better,
To
I would
let
say.
it convert.
Let it die so you can kill it back, because now it's gone, and now you have less time to convert it back by the time the next objective's up.
I wondered the same. The next altar phase 2 is going to be in the bottom.
How long
That'll
do they
need to be
have?
taken at some point. Not too long.
Because they have to wait all the time for it to charge up, which
Yes.
they are doing right now. They're rotating across the map looking for a cheeky kill to see if they can find one before they move down to that bottom area.
Oh, man.
Not finding anyone because instead Dignitas is just stealing their camp. Now they're moving in from above. Karazib gets the vision over the wall with the air ally, and they force Dignitas away from their camp, at least for the moment.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Leaving, you would have potentially opened yourself up to a risky combo.
Stage dive.
Now with the stage dive coming in, seeing how split this team is.
Here comes the salvo from over the wall, but no slows. Lightning Breath was not used it. Double start from Garage.
There.
Here comes the Lightning Breath. Divine Shield already used as Ishmu gets taken out.
Yeah, Dragon Blade's going to keep going. McIntyre gets a
Oh,
bomb, but
no.
it Void Prison everyone else, and with that, he is out of there. Team Dignitas walk
the
away
Sappers made
with
it
a
too.
win in the fight. They killed Diablo, which reset souls, but he is back to try to help.
All the Sappers made it in. They burned Palm and VP with the anti-synergy. Shots are about to come in. They never cleared bot. More Sappers are on the way. This is a cavalcade of bad news for HeroesHearth right now.
Maybe I'll just use Wrecking Ball, but he's going to use
one.
it again to get some more. There's only one left.
Oh, nice cleansing touch. Zeratul out of there. He lives. BBJ saving so many lives there with heals and cleanses.
He's now at the point with debilitating fire, whatever that one is called, where you have the damage reduction. This is a huge, huge talent for Diablo and this build, but things have been going fairly rough for HeroesHearth Esports here. We've seen glimmers of hope, glimmers of the combo, but in general, a lot of times, a lot of these fights, the Lightning Breath, Purification Salvo, they have not been considered as one, Void Prison in the back. And generally, HeroesHearth are known for their team synergy, so I really do believe that this is maybe just simply a case of nerves here.
They're trying to make a play here. Taunt has been burned, so they're trying to get something out of this. Zalia is low, Lightning Breath. Diablo gets palmed. Very nice. Salvo drops Zalia low, but Ishbu taken out by Wubby. A clutch Divine Shield. Zalia, please.
Last second Divine Shield is great, but they're trying to body block JPL. He still had Indomitable, so he survives. HeroesHearth Esports lost Diablo in the end, though the Palm saved him. We saw the Lightning Breath, the Purification Salvo work, but the start of that Diablo was already low when he started the Lightning Breath, and he had just lost his souls not too long ago, so he was weak for that fight. Now Team Dignitas look toward the boss. There's an altar for 5 more shots. There's only 6 left on the core. This is dire straits for HeroesHearth.
They need to either grab that altar or stop this boss happening. They get the kill on Genji here, focusing onto Wubby now. Arthelon is so low, but Poik, he's got resets, not landing the damage zone. That's great news as the boss was leashed, but now they have to fight an altar if they could even afford to try, while 2 heroes down. Diablo will portal through, but Karazim, I don't think he's going to be in time to deny this.
The Arsenal synergy yet again comes in handy to get that Genji kill. No Genji, but Dignitas still gets the channel, setting the core of HeroesHearth to a measly 1 hit point. And guess what? That bottom was never converted. HeroesHearth were way more concerned about the boss, which means now that there are Sapper camps that are a problem, a serious problem, because we're talking about a Garrosh Tetcher.
Wubby is staying alive for the moment. He's slowed. Stage dives to freedom. The nice salvo damage, but Dignitas, they have so many victory conditions now. Like you mentioned, the boss, any altar at any point, or these Sappers. Right now, they're putting the pressure with the Sappers. They don't want to try a boss with Genji dead.
Right, Genji is dead. Dahaka is coming up just a few seconds after him, and he can stalk back in to help out. HeroesHearth cannot allow Sappers to get close to their kill zone because of a Garrosh. They must take these, or they must clear them out.
Dahaka's coming in. They're going to try and just end the game right now, focusing Xaylia, see if they can finish him off early. JPL is dropping low. Xaylia's being ignored. They think he's going to divide himself. The taunt is huge. Down they go. A beautiful palm from Karazim onto himself as they focus onto the camp. They will get their own camp back. HeroesHearth pushing through here. Crowan popping off.
BBJ knew that his team was so low that Poik might have just been able to take everyone out, so he went in, took one for the team, and went for the kill, and he got it, but now the rest of the team, they lose. Crowan warps out at the very last second.
Oh, Snitch snipes him anyway, though. The last second emergency shielding from Crowan so nearly saved his life, but Snitch with the snipe. And now it's a double altar phase. 3 heroes dead. McIntyre's doing everything in his power to buy his team some time. But this is looking like lights out for HeroesHearth.
The unconquered spirit of Phoenix lives on for the moment through Zeratul and Ishbu. But it is all for naught as Uther in the bottom is channeling the final altar and the final shots. Team Dignitas win versus HeroesHearth 2-0.
Nicely played by Team Dignitas. HeroesHearth, though, they held themselves in that game for so long, and I can't help but feel that if they landed their combos, this could have been a different game, but the synergy wasn't working out for them. They couldn't get those angles.
I totally agree, and it's obviously a practice combo that has worked out for them. It worked out for them even versus Team Tempest yesterday, but where it comes in is it felt like, you know, Team Dignitas likely has had time to examine how that play happened, knowing that this was going to be their opponent, or even at the very least is such a strong and disciplined team that they knew what was going to be coming their way, had the idea of how to counter it, how to make sure that the fights were on their terms, and because of that, it just was so difficult for HeroesHearth to ever execute the combos as they would have liked.
Well, to break this game down more for you, let's head over to the Analysis Command Center.
Thank you very much, guys. Yep, 2-0 there for Team